And welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my horror and heavy metal music channel. Today, we're doing something different. I'm going to do my first movie spotlight, which is where I will talk about one of my favorite movies that is outside the horror genre. Um, most everything I watch is horror, but I'm not crazy. I mean, I like a lot of different kinds of movies as well, especially drama, hardcore sci-fi, and yes, I love comic movies. So we're going to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I just got through watching, and I want to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. Now, Zack Snyder's Justice League was released in March of 2021. It's been a couple years in the making. As he reshot it and did all the things. It stars all of what, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, Jesse Eisenberg, everybody, Jason Momoa. Um, they're all back. I'm looking at International Movie Database. So, yeah. Directed by Zack Snyder, of course, it's the Snyder Cut. Now, I do have a very serious issue with him, and I will discuss that. But, I loved it. I loved the movie. But let's do a little background. Justice League, I love Josh Whedon's version of Justice League as much as it can be loved. I do love it. Because it's Justice League. I think, a lot of people have to understand that when you put two problematic parts of the industry at work, things cannot go quite the way you want them to. Now, first of all, you have, Disney and other corporations like it. So, when Justice League was being made, you, of course, have the usual studio interference with Zack's vision and what Zack wanted. And Zack couldn't deal with it anymore. His daughter had committed suicide. He was going through a really bad time. What can you do about it? He tried for 2 months after his daughter committed suicide to throw himself into the work, but he just couldn't. And he ended up leaving. I'm sure the studio, as with studios in general, I'm sure that they had issue with him. And I'm sure that they were part of what was going on with his difficulty in finishing Justice League. So, I mean, but he did leave. What were they supposed to do? They had to bring in someone else. And I don't think that anyone else would have been any better than Josh Whedon when it comes right down to it. Josh Whedon has hit and misses with me. But, I mean, you are talking about someone who had worked with the Avengers. He was used to working with comic movies. So I think that he was a respectable choice by the studio to try to finish Justice League. But of course, what can he do? You've got the studio down your back. There's no way that you can do Justice League justice. No pun intended. But there's no way that you can do Justice League justice in 2 hours. What is the Josh Whedon's cut is what, 2 hours and 10 minutes or something like that? You're talking about a lot of superheroes, a lot of big story, a lot of stuff. It's not a task I would want to take on unless, like Zack Snyder, I had 4 or 5 hours to do it. I might could tell my story with that big of a cast and put all the stuff that I want in it if I had 4 hours to do it. In my opinion, I would want 5 or 6, to be honest with you. But so Josh did it. Josh was restricted. He had to give them the Michael Bay boom booms. He had to give what the studio wanted. And I'm not really defending Josh Whedon. Josh Whedon can be a complete dick, in my opinion. He dicked me around a lot during Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Um, but at the end, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is one of the best things ever created. So, and so was Firefly, and they dicked him around. So it's a give and take with my relationship with Josh Whedon. Um, he stood up where he could stand up and did what he could in the face of some of the stuff that's been happened to him. So I bought the Blu-ray of Justice League. I liked Justice League for what it was. I was disappointed as usual with those kind of movies and the length and the direction that it take. But did I go screaming down the road about Josh Whedon? No, I didn't. So after all of this happened and Justice League was released, it barely broke even. But what do you expect with a comic movie like that? But so it was considered a flop. A lot of people didn't like it. I have issues with it, just like everybody else. But it's better than nothing, is the way, is what I always say about these kinds of situations. It's better than nothing. So everybody started wondering about Zack Snyder, the original director. What about all the footage he filmed? Was there any more? Was there a Snyder cut? And it gained traction and everybody wanted to see it because everybody's a bitch and everybody wants to bitch and moan. That's what everybody does. If you don't have nothing to bitch and moan about, you're going to find something to bitch and moan about because that's all Americans want to do. And worldwide, it seems now, but not as bad as America. So I wasn't, completely shocked at the free the Snyder cut movement, because once we smell blood like vampires, once a fan base smells blood, we go after it. And they smelled blood. There was rumors that Snyder had a vision, that Snyder was interested and not happy with not seeing his vision complete. So all of this was like chumming the waters, and all of the fans were little sharks wanting somebody, smelling blood in the water. It was out there and we wanted it. And we got it. The studio was like, okay, all right, how do you want to do this? Zack Snyder was like, well, I'd like about $50 million or so to film a lot more footage, because he refused to use any footage that was filmed by Josh Whedon. Little bitchy there, but okay. So, and he doesn't have any room to talk. Here's where coming to my problem. So when I first, I got an advance copy. It's going to be released on Blu-ray in September here in the U.S. It's already been released elsewhere. I got a copy from overseas. So I got to see it finally because I don't have HBO Max and have no intention of getting HBO Max. I've got Netflix and I'm not going to have a bunch of multiple streaming services. Fuck that. I choose one and that's where it stays. So I was able to see it earlier. Got it sitting right here. And I loved it. But when I first saw it, I was freaked out. The fucker was full screen on my nice HD 30-inch monitor, which is all I like it. I don't like any bigger than that. It was a square. And I'm like, wait a second, did I get a full screen version? Because let me tell you what, if I fuck up and buy a full screen movie or a pan and scan movie, it goes in the garbage. Very rarely do I make that mistake. But if I buy a movie and some seller sends me a full screen, they refund my money. You can bet your ass. And it goes in the garbage. I hate full screen movies. Pan and scan. 1.4 whatever aspect. I absolutely hate that. So that kind of freaked me out. I mean, unless it was done filmed that way, then it freaked me out. So I go and I look it up and I'm like, why is my Zack Snyder's Justice League a square? Why is it full screen? Come to find out, Mr. Snyder thinks himself so special, so artistic and unique that that his movie only deserves to be on an IMAX screen, which is square. I didn't know that personally because I don't give a fuck about IMAX. In my opinion, IMAX is for like documentaries about space and the ocean and stuff like that, but whatever. So he filmed it. And the first thing that I thought in my head was, you do know this is going to be released to the public, right? Not everybody's going to go to an IMAX screen. What are they supposed to do? You're going to have a big square on there. I mean, you can stretch it. I can stretch it on my monitor, but it looks stretched. So you're going to, film it. But you do know that directors, when they film movies, film in multiple aspects, right? You do know that. You could have done that. Um, I mean, Babylon 5, for God's sakes, was a TV show, but was filmed in widescreen for an anticipated release later on in life, which it did. So that was, you see what I'm saying? Um, you want to be special and artistic and think that you're so cool that you want to do so. Well, Quentin Tarantino, didn't he film? He wanted to do the same thing, but at least he's a smart director. He wanted to do something special. He didn't go back to 1960 and make us watch full screen, a square. Instead, he filmed The Hateful Eight in, what was that, 60 millimeter, 70 millimeter? Had to have the special old cameras for the giant widescreen. And, the Blu-ray is beautiful of The Hateful Eight. So if you want to be like a special director doing your little artistic shit, why in the fuck would you go back and film a show in a square, knowing that it's going to be on people's monitors, knowing that it's going to be on people's widescreen TVs, that it's going to be released in Blu-ray and DVD and HD and stuff like that, and people are going to go home to their widescreen monitors and wonder why the fucking shit looks like it's on a TV from 1960. So I had a very serious issue with that. Now, when I read the articles about his snooty reasons for doing that, oh, you think you're so great that this only deserves to be on IMAX screens. Well, that's cool. I guess if you own one of those in your backyard. But what can you do? It is what it is. Now, when I read the article, though, the article made clear to say it's not pan and scan, though. Yes, it's a square. Yes, it's the 1.4 or 0.1, whatever aspect that is, 1.3, whatever. Yes, it is a square, but no picture. It is not pan and scan. They haven't zoomed in. They haven't cut off the sides. They haven't cut off the top. They have not reformatted the film to fit your TV. So it is not pan and scan. It does look square. It's a square, but you are seeing the whole picture. Nothing has been cut off of the top or the bottom. So I'm like, okay. So it's not pan and scan. I'm just going to have to deal with two little black bars on the side instead of the top, I guess, which is what some people have to do with a widescreen movie. So a letterboxed movie. So I'm like, okay, but as long as I haven't lost any of the picture, as long as this is not a full screen version of a widescreen movie, I guess I can deal with it since I'm not losing any of the picture, since I am seeing the whole thing that was filmed. So okay, that's fine. I can deal with that. And it took me a while to get used to it. I full screened it on my monitor, and of course there's these little black bars on the side. And I did play with the aspect ratio, moving it up a little, stretching it a little. But in the end, I put it back to the default, and I just got used to it. So let's talk about the movie itself. The movie itself was phenomenal. It is 4 hours and 2 minutes long? 4 hours and 2 minutes long. A lot of people have called, it doesn't have the reviews that I thought it would. There's a lot of negative reviews, but the most are positive. But and it's usually those bored ADHD, which I don't even believe that, but ADHD Twitter, what I call Twitter syndrome, and that is that, oh, the movie's too long, the movie's too slow, this is too slow, the song is only supposed to be 2.5 minutes, the movie's only supposed to be 85 minutes or 90 minutes at the max. I can't stand to have to sit here. Don't tell me a long story, just send me a fucking tweet. I fucking hate Twitter syndrome. Americans have been so dumbed down by Instagram and sound bites, and that's what I call it, is Twitter syndrome. So if you go and you look like at International Movie Database or even like Letterboxd, if you go there, it's got like a 2.8. Now International Movie Base is a lot more fair. It's an 8.1 out of 10. But Letterboxd had it. They've only got a 5 scale though. So, but Letterboxd was like 2.8 or something. I'm like, God, there's a lot of haters on here. But if you read the reviews, the majority of the negative reviews are Twitter syndrome reviews. Almost every one of them is, oh my God, it's so long. Then why did you fucking watch it? Didn't you know what he was doing? He was trying to tell a really super epic story. But almost all of the negative reviews was, it's too long, it's so boring, it's so slow. Why is he telling me a long story? Fuck off. I just, I have no tolerance. I have no patience for these people that are like, oh, they should have cut this out. They should have cut that out. Why do you got to tell me such a long story? And I'm like, go the fuck back to Twitter then and watch people, There's a song by Concrete Blonde called Little Conversations, and it's sort of the motto of my life since I was a teenager. There's a line in it that says, I never could say anything in 20 words or less. And that's me. I don't, that whole song is about that issue. Not wanting to talk about things, not wanting to do a deep dive, not wanting to analyze, but wanting everything to be Twitter, wanting everything to be in 20 words or less, little conversations. And I totally agree with that. So I actually am completely fine with 4 hours and 2 minutes of my heroes. Everybody did wonderfully. Zack Snyder definitely did what he intended to do, which was give a lot more of the background, give a lot more story, give everybody a lot more room to breathe. And he did that in kudos. So everything about it, I absolutely adored. Zack Snyder's Justice League is probably the best. I hated the color palette. I will say that. Everything seems so muted. Everything seems so gray. People are like, isn't it black and white? I was like, no, it's not black and white, but there are like sections of the movie where it looks almost just barely above black and white. Everything is so gray and muted. I think that was really shitty. I think the aspect ratio is really shitty. But it's all right. The movie is so phenomenal that those two aspects, those two negatives are sort of canceled out. And that's really all I got to say about that. The movie is phenomenal. I gave it some negative feedback about the aspect ratio, which I think that Zack Snyder is I think he is a total self-absorbed dick for doing that. And I would tell that to his face. You made a masterpiece, but you are a dick, because most people have widescreen monitors and widescreen TVs. And there was absolutely no reason for you to do this shit. If you wanted to do something artsy fartsy, then why didn't you film it in 70 millimeter or 60 millimeter like Tarantino did with The Hateful Eight? Why didn't you do something futuristically If you're going to go back retro, then why can't you go back to like CinemaScope? Do it like the Ten Commandments. Do it in a way that is still palpable today. Making your movie look like an episode of The Honeymooners in 1940 is not artistic. It's fucking lazy and it's self-absorbed when your excuse is my movie deserves to be only seen on IMAX. Well, okay, I don't know where many of those theaters are. So most everybody's going to have to do it. So what is the Blu-ray release going to be like? I don't know. Um, so what else is interesting? This is rated R. Adults. We are so starved. That's my biggest problem with the new Spider-Man. I absolutely am in love with Tom Holland. I love Tom Holland, but they have slowly regressed Spider-Man. I loved Andrew Garfield. I loved, the first three Spider-Mans. I loved Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, I loved him. I loved the Scooby Gang around Tobey Maguire. I loved the Scooby Gang around Andrew Garfield. They went even further, though, and took this almost down to middle school level. I want every member of Tom Holland's Spider-Man Scooby Gang dead. I want them dead. I fucking hate Mary Jane. I hate her portrayal of Mary Jane. I hate all of his little school friends. His Scooby Gang makes me sick. I want them all fucking dead in a plane. That felt good, actually. To say that publicly where people can hate on me, that's fine. Um, I love the new Spider-Man movies. I bought them all, of course. There's very few comic movies that I haven't bought. I didn't buy the New Mutants. I didn't buy Black Panther, and I didn't buy Shazam. I don't particularly like those three movies, but I have pretty much everything else you can think of. I've got to get Black Widow and Dark Phoenix, and I have every comic book from the DC and Marvel universe, every movie from those. But okay, Deadpool, I love, and it's about time that we had an adult, a little bit more adult themed movies. Justice League is rated R. So if you are offended about seeing Ben Affleck's ass in the shower, which didn't bother me at all. So if you're offended by seeing a little nudity, and that is Ben Affleck naked in the shower, you're going to see Ben Affleck naked in the shower. You'll have to shut your eyes. And if you don't like hearing the F-bomb dropped by a superhero, then you'll have to deal with that too, because this is a rated R movie, which I thought was very cool. There's a lot more violence. There's a lot more, I guess, what you would call adult content. There is cussing. And there is, like I said, they do show Ben Affleck's butt. Sorry to come back to that again, but they do. So you get a Marvel comic movie with a little, or a DC, but you know what I'm saying, a comic movie with a little TNA. That's kind of cool. So I liked that personally. I'm very upset, of course, because I wish Robin, of the dynamic duo, I collect Robin comic books. I've got Batman comic books too. I collect Batman too, but I actually prefer Robin. I've always been, probably because I fell in love with Robin when I was a little kid. And Bruce Wayne in the old TV show, when I'd see reruns when I was a little kid, Bruce Wayne is the businessman, and Robin was closer to my age. Of course, he wasn't. He was like an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old, and here I am, a 6-year-old watching, But I drifted towards Robin, and I've always liked Robin. So I kind of wish that Robin was in these movies, but according to Zack Snyder's universe, Robin is dead. Harley Quinn is dead. Aquaman is dead. All of these people are dead. And you're like, what? If you haven't seen it, you're like, what? Yeah. And we're going to have a listen to that because I think the most powerful little piece of Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, is the ending when you get to see a surprise visitor, the ending of the movie after they have defeated Steppenwolf. Everybody's seen Justice League. If you're worried about spoilers, you shouldn't be watching this. Everybody's seen Justice League. They defeat Steppenwolf in the end. But in Zack Snyder's vision, that does not save Earth. Okay, we are not saved by them defeating Steppenwolf because Darkseid and his armada now that they know Steppenwolf is defeated are like, I shouldn't send someone to do what I should do. So they're coming to Earth and they're going to destroy Earth. And according to Zack Snyder, they did. It's in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and our heroes are sitting around trying to figure out what to do. So the Earth is destroyed in the end. Not destroyed, but you know what I mean. We are invaded and we are taken care of. So let's listen to a little bit of the Justice League. This is what is becoming the famous end scene with Jared Leto and Batman and their exchange, which is absolutely awe-inspiring. I mean, it's just riveting. Cyclops is still alive.
How much further?
Batman.
We're almost there. Well, we need to hurry. We can't be out in the open much longer. He'll come for us.
Let him come. Let the bastard come. I'll stab this through his heart for what he did, Arthur. I want to make him pay.
Aquaman is dead.
How you feel, Mira?
You have no idea how I feel.
But we have to stick to the plan to have any chance to make this right.
Who have you ever loved?
Robin. Who's that?
Oh.
Au contraire, my little fish stick.
My little fish stick.
He knows exactly what it's like to lose someone he loves.
Robin.
You know, like a father, like a
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah.
Be very careful with the next thing you say.
Like an adopted son. Isn't that right, Batman?
It's the
Maybe,
Joker.
in a way, that smelly old flounder is right. Because how many can die in your arms before you grin them to death?
That's not very careful.
Now, how many dead eyes can you look into before you die inside yourself?
I've been dead inside a long time. But even I have a limit. And if you cross that line, I swear to God.
Before what, Bruce? Kill me? You won't kill me. I'm your best friend. Besides, who's gonna give you a reach around?
Who's going to give you a reach around?
You need me.
Ugh.
You need me to help you undo this world you created by letting her die.
Letting her die?
Poor Lois.
Lois Lane is dead.
She suffered so. I often wonder, how many alternate timelines do you destroy the world? Because, frankly, you don't have the colonnade to die yourself. So as usual, I'll be the bigger man. A truce, Bruce.
A truce, Bruce.
As long as you have this card, the truce.
So Lois Lane is dead.
But all you have to do is tear it in half, and I'm happy to discuss with you in any way you like why you sent a boy wonder to do a man's job.
So he murdered Robin.
You know, it's funny. You even talk about people who died in my arms. Because when I held Harley Quinn and she was bleeding and dying,
And
she
he,
begged me with her last breath that when I killed you, and make no mistake, I will fucking kill you, that I do it slow. I'm gonna honor that promise.
he killed Harley Quinn in revenge for him killing Robin, yeah? That almost brought the Joker out. But he got a grip.
You're good. You almost had me.
You almost had me. So you think that they're hiding from Darkseid?
Somewhere I'll never suspect. Still think it was a good idea bringing him along. What do you think?
He's found us.
He's found us. So it wasn't Darkseid they were hiding from. It was Superman with his red Krypton eyes, who is obviously very, very upset with them that they let Lois Lane die. So Robin's dead. Lois Lane is dead. Aquaman is dead. Harley Quinn is dead. That was a bold move by Mr. Snyder in his little universe. But I think he knew. Peace Walker, how you doing? Clown? Me or Joker? Or both? But yeah, that was a very bold move by Snyder to insinuate, kill off all of these people. But I think there's a reason why, and that he knows that with his little pull with this aspect ratio, despite the popularity of this movie, I will be buying it. And I'm sure that the majority of comic fandom will also be buying this movie. Yeah, the majority at least. I will be buying it when it comes out in September on Blu-ray. I will be buying it. I'm sure that the other people will as well. The majority of fandom will buy it as well. But even though Zack Snyder knew that this was that this was going to be his one shot, because he's not going to get another one. So I think that he did this at the end of, he wrapped this all up at the end of the Snyder cut of Justice League, because he knew that it didn't really matter. He wanted to leave everyone shocked and imagining the future and what could transpire, and maybe even screaming for a sequel, because I'm sure they will be. Will they consider it? This is the question. Will they consider this canon? Because if they consider Zack Snyder's cut canon, then what will Justice League 2 be? Because there will be a Justice League 2, but Josh Whedon's version of Justice League is canon, according to the studio. So I believe that Justice League 2 will take off, from Josh Whedon's version, not from this version. Because, and I think Zack Snyder knew that, he is not going to get another shot at Justice League. So he killed off all of these people. He killed off Aquaman, he killed off Lois Lane, he killed off Robin, he killed off Harley Quinn. He killed off everyone because he knows he's not going to get another shot, number one. And number two, he knows that the studio is not going to consider Zack Snyder's cut of this movie as canon. Josh Whedon's version is going to be canon. They are going to do Justice League 2 from Josh Whedon's version. Now, Josh Whedon ain't coming fucking back either. I mean, he disowned himself from that movie. So he's not coming back. So who are they going to get to direct Justice League 2 in the end when it's all finalized? I don't know. But it won't be Josh Whedon. And it won't be Zack Snyder. So still, overall, yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. He knows they're not going to let him back because they've already told him that he's not going to come back. He said in a recent article that he would be willing to look at it, that he would be willing to do it, but he is like 99.9% positive that Disney and them, whatever corporation's behind it, is not going to allow him to come back. So I don't know who they're going to get to do it. Do you think? I know they're not going to consider this canon. I mean, this is 4 hours and 2 minutes of genius, in my opinion. And I don't know how I feel if it was to be considered canon, because I said I love Robin. And they have made Superman, he left Superman, evil. He left the bad Superman trying to kill them all. So I don't know. I'm not sure how I would feel about this being left canon, because he's cut out a lot of people. You wouldn't be able to bring Aquaman back. You can't have this be canon. They can't do Justice League 2 without Aquaman. It pisses me off that they do Justice League without the Green Lantern, because that's what I got to say to anybody that doesn't like the Green Lantern. The Green Lantern could have been better. I love Ryan Reynolds in Green Lantern. I've got the extended version on Blu-ray. I like the Green Lantern movie. So everybody's going to bitch about whatever they're going to bitch about. I have my bitch abouts as well. I like that Zack Snyder did this like gigantic throw everybody into a meat grinder in the last 15 minutes of this movie, of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I kind of like being shocked like I was to hear the deaths of all these people. But at the same time, I think he did it because he knew he was never going to get another shot at continuing this story, and that it would not be considered canon. So, what are you going to do? And I I would much prefer. I would much prefer the deaths not to be incorporated as canon. Now they can have Darkseid come and destroy the Earth. That's fine. And they can have the heroes like gonna fight Darkseid again. But that's what I'm saying. I think when you watch this movie, that there really isn't anywhere to go. Zack Snyder did create it. He would have to cut out the last 20 minutes. He would have to cut this part out to be able to move forward, because I just don't see how you've already cut so many other people out of Justice League, like the Green Lantern. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Replace Aquaman with Green Lantern? Are you going to let Mira take over as the ruler of Atlantis? I just don't think that that's going to happen. So I don't see how they can continue this. So, there you go. I don't think that they can do that. I don't think that Zack Snyder is going to be given another shot at Justice League. So this is like a one-off thing that is left with you really starving for a sequel that I don't think you're going to get. There will be a sequel to Justice League 2. It will be a continuation of the Joss Whedon timeline, which is canon, despite the fact that he's removed himself from, anything about Justice League. So, yeah. So that's our little bit of discussion. Then the movie ends with Batman waking up from a vision. So, I mean, they could do it that way. Okay. Zack Snyder could say that the 15 minutes that we just saw with the Joker was a vision that isn't necessarily true, that it is only a possible future, despite the fact that Zack Snyder has made all of his other visions come true. All of his other visions have been prophecy. So, but he could turn around and say that this prophecy, when Ben Affleck woke up, when Batman woke up and had yet another prophecy, that there is no guarantee that that's the future to come. So I think he could slip in a sequel and have this remain canon if they made this last 15-minute prophecy that Batman just experienced, just that, a possible future that is not set in stone. Because if it's left as it is, where all of his prophecies about this timeline has come true, there would be no way to continue this story with this as canon. So it's sort of up in the air, but I don't think it matters really. All I know is that if you love the DC universe, the Marvel universe, the comic universe in general, if you love it, you really should buy this movie. Just be warned and not freak out when it's a big square on your screen. Now you know why, as I explained. It's not pan and scan. None of the picture has been cut off. Everything is there that was filmed. He just filmed it in a square aspect because he thinks his movie only deserves to be seen on an IMAX screen. That still aggravates the shit out of me. But you're not missing any of the picture. It's all still there. Everything is perfectly, it was filmed that way. So nothing's been cut out. But I don't know if they're going to I don't know how they could reprocess it for widescreen on the Blu-ray. So I think the Blu-ray, Zack Snyder is stubborn, yeah? So I think the Blu-ray is going to be this aspect ratio, just like it was released. And that's fine. I did get used to it. Knowing that there's no picture missing makes it, you can handle it. I mean, there is no picture missing, so it's okay. Yeah, so there you go. That's Zack Snyder's Justice League. I loved it. it is a lot better than Josh Whedon's version, but only because Josh Whedon's version was so overproduced by the studio and was so short. It was way too short to tell the story that needed to be told. And but I still like it. I still have the Blu-ray. It is nothing like this though. The Snyder cut is a wonderful, phenomenal masterpiece, but I believe it's a one-off. I don't think he'll ever be able to touch the Justice League universe again. I don't think the studio will let him. And there. So there you go. There's my thoughts and reviews on this. Like I said, mine is a horror and heavy metal channel, but I do like other genres as well. And every once in a while, I'll throw in a movie spotlight that won't be in my Scream With Me series or my Rock With Me series. It will instead be just a movie spotlight on a movie that comes outside of the horror subgenres. So thank you for watching this. I'm once again recording at 4:30 in the morning. So I didn't expect anyone to show up. But if you watch this later, this is my thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was phenomenal. I'm glad I watched it. I can't wait to buy it on Blu-ray. Not that I really need to. I mean, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll buy it on Blu-ray. I'm sure it will be beautiful despite it being in this aspect ratio. And if you like Justice League, check it out. If you have any thoughts on your opinions of Zack Snyder's Justice League, I'd like to hear it. And like I said, this is a horror channel, but I will be on occasion doing movies that are not in the horror genre because I just feel like talking about it. And I was very pumped up. I was very stoked after watching it. I was stoked to get it. I was stoked to watch it. Now that I've watched it, I had to talk about it. And I will see you again in the next videos or streams or however I happen to feel like doing it. I will see you later. Let me know what you think about Zack Snyder's Justice League. And what do you think about that aspect ratio? Did the square bother you? Did it freak you out at first? But in any event, I will talk at you later. Bye-bye.